The grand hall of the Galactic Concord shone like a living crystal. Light flowed through the walls as if the building itself breathed. Delegates from dozens of alien worlds waited inside, their faces calm, alert, and curious. Today was the day the Stellar Peace Accords would be signed, and today was the day humanity would stand before the galaxy as an official member. Captain Alara Vance walked into the hall with steady steps. She wore a formal navy blue Terran uniform, polished until it caught the reflection of every glowing shard around her. Alara was known across human space as a brave explorer, someone who had led rescue missions, solved border disputes, and traveled beyond mapped territories. But even with all her experience, today felt different. She was not nervous. She simply understood the weight of this moment. Many alien species still did not know what to make of humanity. Humans were newcomers, fast learners, and sometimes unpredictable. Some worlds admired that. Others feared it. As Alara entered the hall, conversations quieted. She took her place at Earth's station, nodded to her fellow ambassadors, and looked across the shimmering chamber. That was when she saw him. On the far side stood Commander Rythan Sol of the Siraxi Dominion. His tall, graceful form was covered in a silver uniform that shimmered like morning frost. The Siraxi were known for their calm intelligence and for their unique gift. They could sense emotional patterns through eye contact. Their eyes were large and luminous, swirling softly like a quiet nebula. Alara had studied the Siraxi before, but she had never seen one this close. Rythan looked up at the exact moment she did. Their eyes met. It lasted only a second, a single, breathless heartbeat, but something impossible happened. Alara felt a strange warmth rush through her, like a memory she had forgotten suddenly returning. She felt as if she understood this alien stranger, even though she had never spoken to him. It was not love, not attraction, not anything she could name. It was familiarity. As if their minds recognized each other before their worlds ever did. Rythan's expression shifted. The Siraxi rarely showed surprise, but he did now. His eyes widened slightly, and the silver-blue lights within them brightened, as if stirred by an unseen wave. He felt a harmonic bond. It was something the Siraxi experienced only once in a lifetime, if at all, and only with another Siraxi. It always happened through the eyes. Never with an outsider. Never with a human. Rythan broke eye contact first, not out of discomfort but because the sensation was too strong. His heart, usually calm and steady, beat faster. His breath caught slightly. Near him, a Siraxi advisor whispered something with concern, but Rythan barely heard. His focus remained locked on his own racing thoughts. How could a human cause such resonance? Alara, unaware of the depth of what she had just triggered, forced herself to look away as well. She tried to focus on the ceremony, but her mind kept drifting back to that single second. The warmth, the clarity, the strange pull. She was a practical woman, someone who believed in facts and science. Yet this felt like something beyond understanding. The ceremony began. The Supreme Counselor of the Concord stepped forward, his voice echoing across the hall. Today marks a new chapter. Humanity joins the Concord as partners in peace, exploration, and shared destiny. Delegates clapped in their own varied ways, some with hands, some with wings, some with gentle pulses of light. Alara kept her expression composed, but inside, she felt the echo of that strange moment. Rythan stood still, doing his best to appear calm. But his mind drifted again and again to the human captain across the room. He had read about humans. Emotional, creative, adaptable, but nothing in the archives had prepared him for the shock of synchronized resonance. He wondered if she felt something too. After the ceremony, small groups formed around the hall. Delegates approached each other to talk, build connections, or negotiate future partnerships. Alara engaged in polite conversations, answered questions about Earth, and exchanged cultural greetings. But she kept noticing one thing. Rythan Sol never looked directly at her again. Not once. He kept his gaze slightly lowered, polite and formal, speaking only to those near him. A few alien representatives whispered among themselves. Rumors traveled quickly in the Concord. and some had noticed the strange flicker of light in Rythan's eyes earlier. Saraxi's eyes never brightened without reason. By the time the event ended, whispers had turned into theories, and theories turned into concern. Did the human cause an empathic disturbance? Impossible. Saraxi resonance cannot connect with other species. Maybe humanity has abilities we do not understand yet. Or maybe they are more dangerous than we thought. Alara heard fragments of the murmurs but stayed calm. She knew making the right impression mattered, so she kept her posture straight and her voice steady. When the crowd began to leave, she stepped out into the open sky bay, overlooking the Concord capital. Twin suns set behind the city's floating towers, spreading golden light through the air. The world was beautiful. Foreign, but beautiful. She finally allowed herself to breathe deeply. Why did that alien's eyes feel so familiar? Why did it feel like she had known him forever? She leaned on the railing, trying to understand her own reaction. She was not someone who believed in destiny. She believed in training, choices, and hard work. But nothing in her life had prepared her for the sensation she felt when her eyes met Rythan's. Footsteps approached quietly. It was Ambassador Mirek, a senior Terran representative with silver hair and a calm smile. "You handled yourself well today, Captain," he said. "But there is something you should be aware of." "Ah." Alara turned to him. "Sir, there are rumors spreading already. Something about you and Commander Sol." Alara blinked. "Me? Why?" Some delegates said his eyes brightened when he looked at you. "For the Saraxi, that is extremely rare. It means something unusual happened." Alara frowned. "I just looked at him for a second." "Sometimes," the ambassador replied gently, "a second is enough to change how people see us." Alara faced the sunset again, feeling the weight of his words. She wondered if she should speak to Rythan and clear any misunderstanding. But at the same time, part of her hesitated. A quiet part of her wanted to understand what had happened before trying to explain it away. That evening, Rythan also stood alone this time in the Saraxi observation chamber aboard his diplomatic vessel. His hands rested behind his back as he stared at the stars outside. His advisor, Lether, stood nearby with folded arms. "Explain what happened," Lether said. "Your emotional signature spiked the moment you looked at the human. That does not happen without cause." Rythan stayed silent for a long time. He finally answered quietly, "I do not fully know." "Do not fully know." "You felt resonance," Lether pressed. "Did you not?" Rythan's jaw tightened. His voice was controlled but soft. "Yes, but only for a moment." Lether stepped closer. "Resonance with a human is impossible." "I thought so too," Rythan said. And yet, both fell silent as the stars drifted across the window. Rythan replayed the moment again, in his mind the human captain's steady eyes, the quiet strength in her posture, the certainty he sensed within her. Saraxi resonance always pointed toward compatibility, connection, and harmony of spirit. How could a human trigger that? And what did it mean for the future? He finally spoke again. "The galaxy will talk about this." "They already are," Lether replied. "Some fear it. Some think humans may have hidden abilities. Others believe this bond, whatever it is, could disrupt political balance." Rythan exhaled slowly. "So, 1 second has changed everything." Lether nodded. "For the Concord? And for you." Rythan returned his gaze to the stars. Somewhere out there, the human captain was also looking at the sky. No doubt wondering about the same moment. He wondered if she felt the connection too. He wondered if their paths would cross again. And deep inside, something quiet but powerful told him, this was only the beginning. The following days passed with strange tension inside the Galactic Concord. Delegates still met for discussions and trade talks, but there was a quiet undercurrent, an invisible pressure moving through every meeting hall and every political chamber. Humanity's arrival was supposed to bring fresh hope. Instead, the unexpected eye contact between Captain Alara Vance and Commander Rythan Sol had stirred rumors the Concord did not know how to handle. Whispers of resonance, impossible bonds, and hidden human abilities spread across every diplomatic channel. Some saw it as a miracle, others saw it as a threat. And in the shadows of a forgotten corner of the galaxy, a group watched the chaos unfold with cold satisfaction. The Valar Directorate. They were a secretive coalition of worlds who feared change and hated anything that disrupted their carefully balanced power. For years, they had tried to keep humanity out of the Concord. Humans grew too fast, adapted too quickly, and held too much potential. And now, this strange connection between a human and a Saraxi threatened to pull the two species closer together. If humanity gained the Saraxi as allies, especially strong allies, the Directorate's influence would weaken. Inside a dark command chamber, illuminated by red screens, a Valar overseer hissed to his commanders, "The human and the Saraxi must not join forces. Their connection is a danger to our plans." Another voice replied, low and sharp, "We will break the alliance before it begins." A cold silence followed. Begin the operation. The galaxy was about to shift. A new assignment. Meanwhile, on the Concord capital, Alara walked into the central command office with steady steps. Ambassador Mirek was waiting for her with several holopads stacked on the table. His expression was calm but serious. "We have a situation," he said. Alara frowned. "Political tension?" "More than that." Mirek handed her a glowing pad. A Saraxi colony on Latharis 9 reported unusual energy readings near their borders. The Saraxi are sending a small investigation team. They requested a human officer to join them. Alara blinked. "They requested me?" "Not directly," Mirek corrected. "But the Concord suggested you. They believe this mission will show that humans and Saraxi can work together." Alara felt a weight settle in her chest. She knew who she might be working with. "Commander Rythan Sol will lead the Saraxi team," Mirek added. So her paths were crossing with his again. Alara nodded. "Understood. I'll go." As she left the office, she tried to control the strange anticipation building inside her. The connection she felt with Rythan made her uneasy, not because it frightened her, but because it felt too natural, too familiar. It made no sense. But she couldn't deny it. A reunion filled with questions. When Alara arrived at the Saraxi docking bay, Commander Rythan Sol was already there, standing quietly beside a sleek silver Saraxi shuttle. His posture was formal, but there was a small tension in the air around him, something only someone watching closely could see. Alara stepped forward. "Commander Sol." Rythan turned, his expression composed. "Captain Vance." For several seconds, neither spoke. Alara broke the silence first. "It seems we'll be working together." "So it appears," Rythan answered softly. But Alara noticed his eyes. The swirling colors inside them shifted slightly when he looked at her. Not bright and intense like before, but gentle, controlled, as if he was carefully holding something back. She wondered if he felt the same pull she had felt. She wondered if the Saraxi resonance scared him. Before she could speak again, Rythan gestured toward the shuttle. "We should begin. The energy readings on Latharis 9 are unstable." Alara entered the shuttle, and Rythan followed, taking his place at the pilot's seat. His hands moved gracefully over the controls as the shuttle lifted off, sliding out into the bright sky of the Concord capital. Inside the quiet cabin, Alara finally asked, "Does what happened at the ceremony mean something to your people?" Rythan paused. His voice remained calm, but there was the faintest tremor beneath his words. "Yes," he said. "It is rare. And it is complicated." "Complicated how?" Rythan looked at her from the corner of his eye. "Saraxi resonance does not activate without deep compatibility. It should not have been possible with a human." Alara absorbed his words slowly. "So it wasn't just my imagination?" "No," he replied quietly. "It was real." Alara looked out the window, unsure what to say. She was many things: explorer, captain, diplomat. But nothing had prepared her for this. And far away, hidden behind asteroid fields and blackened moons, the Directorate listened. Their spies monitored the shuttle launch. "The humans and Saraxi travel together," a Valar agent whispered. "Good," the Overseer replied. "Their destruction will break the alliance perfectly." Arrival on Latharis 9. The shuttle descended toward the Saraxi colony. Latharis 9 was a peaceful world, covered in floating gardens and shimmering blue lakes. The Saraxi built their cities with harmony in mind. Every structure, curved gently, shaped to blend with nature instead of cutting through it. But something felt wrong the moment they landed. Ilara sensed it first. There was a heaviness in the air, an uneasy silence. Saraxi citizens watched them with tense eyes. Lights that should have glowed softly flickered with nervous energy. Rythan stepped out and approached the local commander, a tall Saraxi named Relhan. The two exchanged formal greetings before Relhan spoke urgently. We detected unusual energy readings near the outer ridge. At first, we thought it was natural. But the pattern resembles artificial signals. Artificial? Ilara repeated. From who? Relhan lowered his voice. We believe someone is masking their signature. Possibly the Valar Directorate. Valar Directorate. Ilara's stomach tightened. Rythan's face darkened. Show us the data. They were taken to a monitoring chamber where holographic screens displayed scans of the region. The energy waves pulsed in sharp, unnatural bursts, like someone testing a device. It gets stronger every hour, Relhan said. We do not know the purpose yet. That pattern, Ilara studied the data carefully. It looks like the early phases of a distortion generator. Rythan turned to her. A device that bends space? Ilara nodded. Yes. And if it expands too far, it could tear through the colony. Rythan's eyes tightened with concern. Then we must act quickly. But they didn't know something important, something the Directorate had planned perfectly. The moment Ilara and Rythan approached the disturbance, they would be walking straight into a trap. Working together, Ilara and Rythan led a small team toward the outer ridge where the readings intensified. The landscape changed as they moved, smooth paths became rougher, and the gentle Saraxi glow trees twisted slightly, reacting to the unstable energy. Rythan scanned the ground. The energy pulses are increasing. Ilara crouched beside a strange scorch mark. And someone was definitely here, recently. The wind grew sharp, carrying a faint metallic smell. The team spread out, checking equipment. Ilara watched Rythan from a distance. He was calm, focused, but she could sense the quiet tension inside him, almost like her presence affected him the same way his affected her. She stepped beside him. This connection we felt. Does it distract you? Rythan paused. He answered honestly. It changes the way I sense things. My emotions are not normally this active. Ilara gave him a small, understanding smile. Same for me. Rythan looked at her with soft surprise. Before either could say more, the ground trembled. A deep rumble rolled across the ridge. Ilara's hand jumped to her sidearm. Rythan activated his wrist scanner. What is that? Ilara asked. Rythan's eyes widened. A spatial tier is forming. The air ahead of them split open, revealing a swirling, unstable rift. Red lights flashed inside the distortion. Then metallic shapes emerged from the tearing space drones marked with the striped insignia of the Valar Directorate. Ilara cursed under her breath. We walked right into it. Rythan stepped protectively in front of her as the drones spread out, surrounding them. Ilara drew her weapon. Rythan activated his arm shield. The drones charged their weapons, and in that dangerous, breathless moment, Ilara and Rythan exchanged a single look, a look filled with unspoken understanding. Whatever this bond between them was, they would need it now, because the Valar Directorate had declared war, not on humanity, not on the Saraxi, but on them. The Valar drones circled Ilara and Rythan, like hungry metal wolves. The glowing distortion behind them crackled, bending the air and twisting the light. Every instinct in Ilara's body screamed danger. Rythan kept his shield raised, standing close beside her. His voice was calm, but his eyes glowed with sharp focus. Captain Vance, he said softly, stay near me. Ilara smirked slightly despite the danger. Wasn't planning to go anywhere. The first drone fired. A bright bolt shot toward them. Rythan shifted instantly, absorbing the hit with his arm shield. The impact echoed through the ridge with a sharp crack. Ilara fired back quickly, hitting a drone in its sensor core. It sparked and crashed to the ground. More drones dove downward. Behind you, Rythan warned. Ilara spun, firing 3 rapid shots. The drones fell like broken glass, shattering against the rocks. Rythan moved with fluid grace, using his shield to protect both of them, his reactions impossibly precise. The team they brought along fought too, but the drones kept coming in relentless waves. It was clear. The Directorate wanted to overwhelm them. "We have to fall back," Alara shouted. Rythan nodded. "Toward the canyon. Narrow space will limit their numbers." They moved quickly, guiding the surviving Saraxi team members back through the rocky terrain. The drones followed, firing bolts of red energy that exploded against the ground. A drone shot hit close behind Alara. The blast threw dust and sparks into the air, knocking her off balance. Rythan grabbed her arm, pulling her upright before she fell. Their eyes met for a brief second. "Thank you," she breathed. Rythan just nodded. "Come, we must keep moving." The trap opens fully. They reach the canyon, a narrow path with towering stone walls. As expected, fewer drones could enter at once. The team formed a defensive line, but the danger was far from over. The distortion device at the ridge pulsed again, louder, brighter. A low hum vibrated through the ground, shaking loose pebbles from the canyon walls. Alara checked her scanner. "It's expanding. If the rift grows too big, this whole region could collapse." "We need to shut it down," Rythan said. Relhan, the local commander, stepped forward. "Commander Sol. Captain Vance, go. We'll hold the drones here as long as we can." Alara shook her head. "You won't last long. We only need a few minutes," Relhan insisted. "Stop the device. Save the colony." Rythan hesitated, torn between duty and loyalty. Alara touched his arm. "We need to move." Rythan looked into her steady eyes and felt a pulse faint. Familiar. Powerful. Something inside him calmed. He nodded. "Let's go." They broke away from the canyon and rushed back toward the ridge, using a narrow side path to avoid the bulk of the drones. The ground shook harder with each pulse of the device. The air felt heavy, distorted, as if the world's natural balance was being pulled apart. Inside the heart of the distortion, when they reached the ridge, the device came into full view. It was a tall, metallic structure, glowing with red lines that pulsed violently. The rift behind it stretched wider now, warping the sky and sucking wind toward its center like a hungry mouth. Alara stared at it. "They're trying to destabilize the colony." "No," Rythan said quietly. "They want to destroy us." Elara's eyes widened. She understood immediately. "They want to frame humanity," she said. "If the device explodes here, the Saraxi leadership will blame Earth, and the Concord will turn against your people," Rythan added. The truth hit them both like a cold wave. This wasn't just an attack. It was a political weapon. Alara stepped forward. "We shut it down. Now." She approached the panel on the side of the device. The controls were written in Valar code, sharp symbols that almost looked like claws. But Alara was trained in multi-species engineering. She worked quickly, trying to disable the core. Rythan kept watch, scanning the sky for drones. "Alara," he said suddenly. She didn't look up. "Busy." "Alara," he repeated, his voice sharper this time. She turned. A large Valar assault drone descended from above, bigger, stronger, armed with dual cannons. Its red lights glowed with a predatory gleam. Rythan stepped forward quickly. "Get down." The drone fired 2 powerful blasts. Rythan's shield absorbed the first, but the second hit the ground and threw both of them backward. Alara hit the ground hard. The breath knocked from her chest. Rythan rolled, landing between her and the drone. The machine charged up for a final strike. Alara scrambled to her feet. "We can't take that hit." Rythan reached out and grabbed her hand. "Then we take it together." In that instant, the strange bond between them surged to life with unexpected strength. Rythan's eyes glowed bright, brighter than the accord ceremony. Alara felt a wave of warmth and clarity move through her body. Their emotional patterns aligned like 2 signals syncing. The Saraxi resonance activated fully, and for a moment, the world around them slowed. Alara lifted her weapon with perfect calm and fired at the drone's left joint. Rythan dashed forward, shield glowing like a star, and struck the drone's sensor core. The machine shook violently, sparks flying, then collapsed in a heap of broken metal. They breathed hard, their hands still tightly locked together. "Alara," Rythan said softly, "our connection, It guided us. She nodded slowly. Yes. I felt it. But there was no time to discuss it. The device pulsed again, this time violently enough to crack the ground beneath their feet. The final choice. Alara turned back to the control panel. The core is destabilizing. If we don't shut it down now, the rift will expand and swallow half the colony. Rythan stepped beside her. What do you need me to do? She pointed. I need you to hold that lever down while I override the core link. If we're lucky, it will collapse safely. And if we're not lucky, Alara gave a small, tired smile. Then we run very fast. They worked together, moving in perfect sync. Rythan held the lever with steady force, while Alara typed command after command, trying to bypass the security locks. The device shook violently. Hurry! Rythan said, raising his voice over the roaring hum. Alara forced herself to stay calm. Her fingers flew across the panel. Almost there. Almost. Click. The device suddenly went silent. The rift behind it flickered once, twice, then shrank rapidly like a closing wound. Finally, it vanished. The air stilled. The ground stopped shaking. Alara exhaled deeply and stepped back. The crisis was over. Rythan lowered the lever and looked at her. You did it, Alara smiled. No, we did it. Their eyes met again, warm, steady, familiar. A connection deeper than words flowed between them. But the moment didn't last. A weak voice called from behind. Commander. Captain. Alara and Rythan turned to see Relhan limping toward them, supported by 2 Saraxi soldiers. They looked bruised but alive. The drones retreated, he reported. The colony is safe. Rythan walked forward and bowed his head respectfully. Your bravery kept us alive. Relhan managed a small smile. It was worth it, the truth revealed. Later, back at the Concord capital, evidence from the destroyed drones revealed everything. The Valar Directorate built the distortion device. They planned to frame humanity. They targeted Alara and Rythan specifically. When this was presented to the council, shock spread across the entire chamber. The Directorate's plan failed, and humanity's reputation didn't fall. It grew stronger. Even the Saraxi leadership spoke with admiration. Ambassador Mirek addressed the council proudly. Today, humans and Saraxi work together to stop a disaster. Let this be a sign of our future cooperation. Rythan stepped forward next to Alara. The connection between our species, he said calmly, is stronger than fear or rumors. The chamber fell silent. For a moment, everyone saw something they had not seen before. Humanity and the Saraxi, united not by politics, but by something deeper. A quiet moment. After the meeting, Alara walked outside the hall to the balcony where she had stood on the first day. The twin suns were setting again, painting the sky gold. Rythan approached quietly. Are you well? He asked. Alara looked at him with a tired but genuine smile. Yes. Just thinking. About the resonance? He asked softly. She nodded. I don't fully understand it, but I know it's real. Rythan stepped beside her. His voice became gentle. For my people, resonance means a deep bond, a natural harmony between 2 spirits. It is rare. It is meaningful. And I... He hesitated. Alara turned to him. And you felt it with me? Rythan met her gaze. Yes. Alara didn't speak for a moment. She didn't need to. She felt the truth inside herself, too quiet, warm, powerful. Then maybe, she said softly, our worlds were meant to meet. Rythan looked out at the sunset. Perhaps some connections are written in the stars long before we see them. Alara smiled. Their eyes met again. And though they had met only once, only briefly, their hearts already knew each other for a lifetime.